Hello students and Namaste everyone. I am Dhaval sir and I welcome you all on behalf of Vidyadesh Vidya Sankuul School to the online session. Okay. And in our today's lecture, we are going to discuss about your Standard 9 supplementary reader chapter number 2, that is the Adventures of Toto, and the author or the writer of this chapter is Ruskin Bond. Okay. So first of all, I will give you some basic information about the writer or the author, whose name is Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an Indian author with British descent. Okay, and he lives with his adopted family in Mysore, and the place is Landor. Okay, so in India, right? And he is an icon among the Indian writers and children's author. Okay, so there are many authors who write stories for the children, right? So among those authors, Ruskin Bond is very famous and is also a top novelist. Okay, and he is awarded with Sahitya Academy Award for his literature work, and in India he is even awarded with the highest civilian awards, that is the Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan. Okay. So he is such a reputed and respected author. Okay. Then we'll go to the introduction of this chapter, that is the Adventures of Toto. Okay. So this story, first of all, I'll tell you the introduction about this chapter. Then briefly I'll explain you the summary of the chapter. Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll go to the textual part. That is, we'll understand the chapter line by line. So in the introductory part, I can say that this chapter is a very humorous. Humorous means which creates a kind of comic or a comedy. Okay, so this is a humorous and adventurous story about a monkey named Toto. Okay, in this chapter, the writer has described about the pranks which the monkey, that is the Toto, used to play, and in a different ways. So in this chapter, the writer has described about the pranks played by this notorious monkey, okay, which makes the story very interesting. Okay, and the monkey was actually bought by the writer, that is Ruskin Bond's grandfather. Okay, so it was bought by writer's grandfather for a sum of ₹5. Okay, from a Tonga driver, right? So Tonga, you all might have seen in the movies, or if you live in Bhavnagar, you might have seen Mahila College Circle, where there are Tonga drivers. Okay, the carriage with a kind of cover, okay, canopy, and with a single horse. Okay, that is known as Tonga. Fine. So the grandfather bought Toto from a Tonga driver for a sum of ₹5. Okay, and he bought this monkey because he was very fond of different animals. Okay, so at his home only, okay, he had a collection of pet animals, and he had made a kind of a small zoo at his home only. Okay, so he also took Toto along with him at his home, but in the beginning, grandfather had kept the Toto hidden or secret. The reason was the grandmother did not like animals. Okay, so what did grandfather do when he brought the monkey, that is Toto, at his home? He hid the monkey, that is Toto, okay, in the writer's bedroom in a cupboard. Okay, and he was attached to the nail. So what did this Toto do? It was very mysterious. So it broke the nail, and he created a kind of chaos in that room. Okay, a kind of situation which is very confusing. He tore the wallpapers. Okay, he broke the nail of the cupboard, right? So that is what it did on the very first day, that is in the beginning. Then what happened? Then later on, this monkey was shifted, okay, to the servant's room. Okay, but At that servant's room also, Toto did not allow the other animals to sleep for the whole night. It kept on disturbing the other animals. Okay. Then what is happening? Later on, one day, grandfather had to go to Saharanpur, okay, for some work, and he decided to carry Toto with him. Why? Because as we saw that Toto was very annoying and he disturbed the other animals also. He did not let other animals to stay peacefully or calmly. So what did grandfather decide? He decided that I'll take away the monkey with me. Right? He decided to take or carry Toto with himself. So he took a canvas bag which was very strong enough. He put the monkey, that is the baby monkey, inside the bag and zipped it off so that it could not come out. Right? But when grandfather reached at the station, this monkey, it tried to make a lot of unsuccessful attempts. Right? That means it was not able to come out of the bag. So while doing that, the bag kept on jumping and rolling. And what happened? The other passengers at the station, they were very curious. Right? Why they were very curious? Because they were not knowing what was inside the bag. So when they saw the bag jumping, the curiosity grew inside them and they wanted to find out what was there inside the bag. Okay? And finally what happened? When the grandfather was purchasing the ticket, okay, from the ticket collector, or when he was showing the ticket to the ticket collector, this fellow monkey, what it did, it tried to peep out of the bag, and when the ticket collector found this baby monkey inside the bag, he declared it to be a dog, okay, and charged 3 rupees for the monkey. Okay, so grandfather got a lot of, means he got annoyed with this activity of Toto. Okay, then later on what is happening, when he is coming back home, right, one day he is kept at the stable, okay, where the other animals are kept. So he is kept at the stable where Nana is the donkey which is at grandfather's home. So even this Toto did not allow Nana to sleep for the whole night. Okay. Then later on one day, what happened? It was the winter season, and Toto liked to take bath in the warm water. Okay. So what is happening? One day the kitli was there in which the water was boiling, and this monkey, that is Toto, almost boiled itself. That means he was not aware that it was on. The fire was on, and he went inside, but the water boiled too much, and at last it was saved from that. Right? So it almost boiled itself, and at last, what is happening? The meal which was prepared for the family, right? The pulao, right? We all know what is pulao. So that meal was prepared for the family, but Toto ate all the pulao, okay, in the dish, and it ran away outside. And when the meal was over, when he ate away all the pulao, right, he threw the dishes from the tree and broke it into pieces. Right? So later on, grandfather realized that day by day the monkey is becoming more and more mischievous, and it was becoming more and more difficult to handle the monkey. So grandfather decided that he cannot keep this monkey at his home, and therefore he returns the monkey back to the Tonga driver for the sum of ₹3. He bought for 5 rupees, but when he is returning back, he is getting only 3 rupees. So this is all about the summary of this chapter. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll go through the textual part of this chapter and try to understand it in detail. Okay. So in the beginning, introductory paragraph, what is given? Have you ever had a baby monkey as a pet? Toto is a baby monkey. Let's find out whether he is mischievous or docile. Docile means what? Obedient. Right? Docile means obedient. Okay. So as I have already told you the story, we know that this fellow, that is Toto, was very mischievous, very notorious. Okay. Grandfather bought Toto from a Tonga driver for the sum of 5 rupees. So for 5 rupees, grandfather bought Toto. Okay. The Tonga driver used to keep the little red monkey tied to a feeding trough. Okay, what did the Tonga driver do? He used to keep this little red monkey. The monkey's face was red. Okay, to a feeding trough. Now, what is feeding trough? Okay, so this is a picture of trough. Okay, so I have given the meaning also. A long, shallow container. Okay, from which animals such as cow, goat, pig, horses, etc. eat or drink. Right, you all might have seen such kind of vessel from which animals have their food as well as water. Okay, and the monkey looked so out of place. And the monkey looked so out of place. So this phrase, so out of place, means not comfortable in a situation. Okay, not comfortable in or not suitable for a situation. That means the monkey did not like it at all when it was tied to the trough. Okay, so out of the place there, that grandfather decided he would add the little fellow to his private zoo. Right? That means grandfather decided that he will purchase this baby monkey and take it to his home. Okay, moving to the next paragraph. Toto was a pretty monkey. That means it was very cute, very beautiful. His bright eyes sparkled with mischief beneath deep-set eyebrows. So sparkled means it kept on shining. There was a shine in his eyes. Okay, and his teeth, which were a pearly white. Pearl moti, you all know that it is very white in color. Okay, so the teeth of Toto were white in color. Right, so the teeth were extremely white, which looked like the pearls. Okay, were very often displayed in a smile. That means very often, continuously the monkey kept on smiling, and the teeth they were shining. Okay, like the pearl. That frightened the life out of elderly Anglo-Indian ladies. Anglo-Indian ladies means we know that when the Britishers they came to India, and after India got independence, many of the Britishers they went away, maximum all the Britishers, but there were still many Britishers who had mingled in India, right? So those Britishers are known as Anglo-Indian British or Anglo-Indian, right? There is a kind of community in India, okay, which is a mixture, or we can say the mingle of Britishers and the Indian descent, okay. So when the ladies, when they saw at this monkey, and when the monkey used to smile at them, the ladies they were very much frightened, because they knew that this monkey is going to do some kind of mischief with them. Okay, but his hands looked brighter, as though they had been pickled in the sun. Pickle, you all might have means you might be aware what is pickled, right? So I have also given the meaning also, preserved, right? That means the hands of the monkey they had become very dry. Okay. So pickled in the sun for many years. Yet his fingers were quick and wicked. Right? Yet his fingers were very quick and wicked. Wicked means marked by mischief. Right? So it kept on doing some or the other work. Right? So the monkey was very mischievous. Right? And his tail. Now the description is given about the tail. Okay? While adding to his good looks. That means the monkey was very cute. We saw in the beginning of the paragraph that it was very pretty. Right, but this tail added to its beauty. Okay, so what is told over here? Grandfather believed a tail would add to anyone's good looks. Now this is just a kind of fun grandfather is doing, right? A humorous comment. Okay. Also served as a third hand. So you might have seen many a times the monkey they hold the branch of a tree with its tail. Okay, so it served as a third hand. That means where the monkey could not reach, it used to take hold of the thing with the help of its tail, because you might have noticed that the tails of the monkey they are very long. Okay, he could use it to hang from a branch, and it was capable of scooping up. Scooping up means I have already explained it to you, to lift up something. Okay, to lift up something. So the tail was capable of scooping up any delicacy that might be out of reach of his hands. So I have already told you the hands has a bit of limitation, okay, but the tail was very long enough. Usually the monkeys they have a very long tail, and therefore it was used for scooping up the delicacy. Now delicacy means the quality or state of being luxurious. That means the things which were very good, the things which monkey wanted, right? It could grab it with its tail. Okay, fine. So the next paragraph goes like this. Grandmother always first when grandfather brought home some new bird or animal. Now what is the meaning of first? First means an expression of anger or complaint, especially about something that has little importance. Right? So what happened? Grandmother always got angry on grandfather when he used to bring the animals or the birds. So it was decided that the Toto's presence should be kept a secret from her until she was in a particularly good mood. Right? So what the grandfather and the writer they are deciding that they will hide the monkey, okay, till the time grandmother was in the good mood. Usually this thing happens with us also. Whenever we want something from our parents, okay, or whenever we want to convince our parents regarding something, we wait for the good mood of the parents. We wait that when they are in the good mood, we will present our proposal, right? So that is it. Further, grandfather and I put him away in a little closet. Closet means a cupboard, okay? Closet, cupboard or a small room. Fine. So opening into my bedroom wall, where he was tied securely. Okay, Toto was tied securely, or so we thought, to a peg fastened into the wall. Peg fastened into the wall. So this is peg. In Gujarati we say nakucho. Okay, so it was tied. Right, the rope might be tied with it, and with that rope, Toto was tied. So it is written over here that where he was tied securely, also we thought, to a peg fastened into the wall. So what is the meaning of fasten? Fasten is to fix firmly. Okay, so this peg is usually fastened in the wall. Okay, a few hours later, when grandfather and I came back to release Toto, to free Toto. Okay, what happened? We found that the walls, which had been covered with some ornamental papers, right? Usually we have seen in some luxurious homes, the walls are decorated with the wallpapers, beautiful wallpapers. In the same way, the writer's room was covered with the wallpaper, okay, chosen by grandfather, now stood out as naked brick and plaster. That means Toto had torn all the wallpapers, okay. The peg in the wall had been wrenched. Okay, the peg in the wall had been wrenched from its socket. So wrenched means what? Right? I've already told you that it is pulled or twisted suddenly with a force. Okay, that is wrenched from its socket. Socket means an opening or hollow that forms a holder for something. Okay, usually this peg is fastened with the socket. Okay. And my school blazer, my here means writer, Ruskin ball. Okay, what happened to the blazer? Which had been hanging there was in shreds. Now what is the meaning of shreds? Shreds means to cut or tear something into small pieces. That means Toto had torn the blazer or the blazer of the writer, right? And now it was in pieces. Okay. I wondered what grandmother would say, seeing the situation of the room, okay, what all chaos the monkey had created. The writer was very much worried because now they need to answer the grandmother that how all these things had happened, okay. But grandfather didn't worry. He seemed pleased with Toto's performance. That means grandfather was absolutely relaxed because already grandfather had many animals in his private zoo, okay, and grandfather even knew that what are the characteristics of a monkey, because usually the monkeys they have such kind of characteristics and they behave in such a kind of way, which was absolutely normal for the grandfather. Okay, moving to the next paragraph. What grandfather is saying? He is very clever. Okay, why he is saying like this? Let's see. Given time, I am sure he could have tied the torn pieces of your blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window. Now what the grandfather is saying, that he is very clever, that is Toto is very clever, because grandfather understood that why the Toto had made shreds of the blazer. Why? Because grandfather is saying that if they had not come earlier, and if Toto had enough time, then he would have joined the pieces of the blazer, okay, made the rope, and it might have fled away, okay, or it might have escaped. Fine. Next paragraph. His presence in the house still a secret. That means still the grandmother is not knowing about Toto. Toto was now transferred to a big cage in the servants' quarters, where a number of grandfather's pets lived very sociably. Sociably, that means in a friendly way. Okay? Meaning is given friendly or having pleasant social relation. That is in a friendly way. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel. Tame. Okay? Tame means domesticated. In Gujarati we say paditu. Paltu. Okay? Tame squirrel. And for a while, my pet god of writer, Rasin god. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companions to sleep at night. Right? So such notorious was the Toto. So grandfather, who had to leave Dehradun, okay, next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur, decided to take him along. Right, because seeing at the activities or the pranks done by Toto, grandfather realized that if I keep this monkey over here, it will make the life of other animals hell, and therefore he decided to carry Toto along with himself. Okay. Next paragraph. Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on that trip. Okay, but he told me about it afterwards. Now what the writer is saying, that due to some or the other reason he could not accompany grandfather, but later on when grandfather came back home, he informed writer about all what happened at the station in his journey with Toto. Okay. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. Okay. So to put Toto in a safe place, the grandfather took a big black canvas bag. Canvas means what? Right. So canvas means a bag which is made up of leather. Okay. Which is very strong enough. Okay. This with some straw at the bottom. Okay. This is canvas bag. The picture is already given over here. This is just a kind of bag, canvas bag. Okay. The picture I have placed over here. This is straw, sukha ghas, okay, dried grass. That is straw, okay. So this with some straw at the bottom became his new abode. New abode means home. That means now Toto was placed inside the canvas bag. When the bag was closed, there was no escape. That means the zip of the bag was closed completely, so that Toto could not escape from there. Okay. Toto could not get his hands through the openings, and the canvas was too strong for him to bit his way through. That means even by biting the canvas bag, he could not tear it up and escape from it. Okay. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the air. So in the introduction and the summary part, I have already told you that while trying to escape from the bag kept on rolling, as well as some of the times occasionally jumped also. Okay. An exhibition that attracted a curious crowd of onlookers on the Dehradun railway platform. Now, if we are also present at such a kind of situation, even we will be surprised, okay, and attracted towards such kind of thing, because it was simply a bag, a canvas bag which was rolling as well as jumping. So curiosity was growing among the passengers at the platform that what might be there inside the bag. Okay. Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. Wide green means a smile. Okay, green means a wide or a broad smile. So what happened till Saharanpur? Everything was absolutely fine, and when he was about to leave the station, okay, when he was showing the ticket to the ticket collector, suddenly Toto peeped out of the bag. Okay, it peeped out of the bag and it looked at the ticket collector. Okay, so that is what is happening over here, and gave a wide grin, big smile, like this. Okay, yeah. Next paragraph. The poor man was taken aback. The poor man's grandfather was taken aback. Okay, sorry. The poor man here means the ticket collector. When he saw the animal inside the bag, he was very much surprised. Okay, so taken aback means surprised. But with great presence of mind and much to gain grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you." Okay, what the ticket collector is saying, that you have a dog with you, right? So with this thing, father got too much annoyed, okay, irritated. You will have to pay for it accordingly. Okay, in vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. In vain. In vain means trying to make efforts, but no output is received. That means useless. Okay, totally useless. Okay, so in vain he tried to prove that a monkey did not qualify as a dog. So there might be a condition that if there is a dog, you need to pay 3 rupees for that. But for monkey, nothing was mentioned. But then too, the ticket collector considered the Toto as a dog. Okay, so what is written further? That a monkey did not qualify as a dog or even as a quadruped. Okay, so quadruped means an animal that is 4 feet. Okay, Toto was classified as a dog by the ticket collector, and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare. Right, so the ticket collector collected 3 rupees from grandfather for Toto. Okay, the grandfather then, just to get his own bag, took from his pocket our pet tortoise. Okay, what is written? Then grandfather, just to get his own bag, took from his pocket our pet tortoise and said, "What must I pay for this, since you charge for all animals?" Right? That means from this paragraph we can understand that how annoyed or irritated and angry grandfather might be. Okay, the ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise, prodded it with his forefinger, gave grandfather a pleased and triumphant look and said, "No charge. It is not a dog." Right? So, prodded means to push someone or something with your finger, like this. Okay? So, the ticket collector tried to check the animal, okay, and gave grandfather a pleased and triumphant look. Okay? That means he was satisfied that this is not a dog. And further he said, "No charge." Why? Because it is not a dog. So earlier also the grandfather tried to convince him that this is not a dog, this is a monkey. But no, the ticket collector was not convinced and he charged 3 rupees for Toto. Okay, moving further. So here is the picture, okay, of the Saharanpur station. This is the grandfather having the bag in his hand, and here you can see the Toto peeping out of the bag, and the ticket collector collecting money from grandfather. Okay, fine. So moving further. When Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable. Now what is stable? So you all are aware where usually the buffaloes or the horses or the other animals are kept. Okay. So in Gujarati we say tabela. Okay, or Hindi. Fine. So in the stable where he had for a companion the family donkey Nana. Nana is the name of a donkey. Okay. On Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit to see if he was comfortable. Right. So for the very first day, Toto was kept at the stable, and grandfather just wanted to make sure that Toto was comfortable over there. Okay. to his surprise, he found Nana without apparent cause pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. So there are many difficult words over here. One by one, I will try to explain it to you. Okay. So to his surprise, he found Nana. Nana, that is the donkey, without apparent cause. Okay. So without apparent cause. Apparent means true, valid or sufficient at first impression. So without any reason, okay, pulling at her halter, okay, a set of straps placed around a horse's head so that the horse can be led or tied. That means the donkey was tied with the straps, okay, and trying to keep her head, her here means about the donkey or the Nana is being talked about, as far as possible from the bundle of hay. Hay means grass that has been cut and dried to be used as a fodder for animals. So it was trying to pull its head away from the hay. Grandfather gave Nana a slap across her haunches. Now what is haunches? The upper part of person's or animal's leg. Like this. Okay? Haunches. And she jerked back, dragging Toto with her. He had fastened onto means attached or joined. Okay? So the monkey was also attached with that rope. Okay? So what is written? He had fastened onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. That means the donkey's ears. Right? The monkey bit the donkey's ears. Okay? Toto and Nana never became friends. Right? A great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings was the large bowl of warm water given him by grandmother for his bath. That means Toto liked to bath in the warm water during the winters. But what happened further? He would cunningly test the temperature with his hand, then gradually step inside the bath. Okay? That means it would touch the temperature of the water, that whether it is too hot for him to enter inside it or not. Okay? And gradually step inside the bath. First one foot, then the other, as he had seen me doing. As he had seen me doing means, me here means the grandfather or a writer, that is Ruskin boy. So Ruskin boy used to go inside the tub for bath. Okay, in the same way, Toto is trying to enter the vessel. Okay, until he was into the water up to his neck. Fine. So this is how Toto used to enter the vessel. That is the kitli for warm water. Okay. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hands or feet and rub himself all over. Okay. When the water became cold, he would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. Right. So here we can notice or observe that how notorious the monkey was and how he kept on doing the pranks and everything. Okay. If anyone laughed at him during this performance, Toto's feelings would be hurt and he would refuse to go on with his bath. Right. So due to this performance, that means he used to take bath in the tub. Then when the water got cold, he used to run inside the kitchen for fire. So while having a look at all these things, if someone by mistake, right, if they laughed at Toto, then again, when the next time it was a time for him to bath, he would not go for a bath. Okay. One day Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. Right. So one day what happened? When the water was boiling in the kitli, Toto didn't realize that the fire was on and he went inside the water and slowly and gradually the water started boiling. Along with that, even Toto, right, but at the right time Toto was removed from them. Otherwise it would have boiled inside the boiling water. Okay. A large kitchen kitli had been left on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Okay, finding himself with nothing better to do. That means it was totally free. and he had no work. So what did he decide? He decided to remove the lid. Lid is the cover, usually which is placed on the vessel. Okay. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in with his head sticking out from the open kitchen. Right? This was just fine for a while until the water began to boil, because the fire was on, as I say, and slowly and gradually the water started boiling. Okay. Toto then raised himself a little. That means they tried to raise itself, tried to come out. Okay. But finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time until grandmother arrived and hauled him. Okay. So hauled means to pull or drag. That means it was removed outside the water. Okay. Boiling water. Half boiled out of the kitchen. That means Toto was almost half boiled. Okay. When he was inside the water. Next paragraph. If there is a part of the brain especially devoted to mischief, right, then what is written? That part was largely developed in Toto. Right. So this is what the writer is saying. That in his brain, if a special part was allotted for mischief, then the highest part for mischief will be allotted to Toto. Okay. He was always tearing things to pieces. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort to get hold of her dress and tear a hole in it. Right. So this notorious Toto was, right. One day at lunchtime, a large dish of pulao, we all know what is pulao, okay, stood in the center of the dining table. Okay, the meal which was prepared for the family. We entered the room to find out Toto stuffing himself with rice. That means Toto was easily, okay, calmly enjoying eating the rice. Okay. My grandmother screamed and Toto threw the plate at her. One of my aunts rushed forward to catch Toto, okay, and received a glass of water in the face. When grandfather arrived, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit through a window. Right, so Toto was scared maybe of grandfather. So when the grandfather arrived, he took the dish of pulao and he ran away outside the window. Okay, we found him in the branches of the jackfruit tree. Okay, the dish still in his arms. He remained there all afternoon. Okay, so he was there. All of them were waiting for him to come down, but he was still there till afternoon. Okay, eating slowly through the rice, determined on finishing every grain. That means he was about to finish all the pulao in the plate and each and every grain. Okay, and then in order to spite grandmother, spite means a desire to harm, anger or defeat another person, especially because you feel that you have been treated wrongly in some way. That means Toto was not happy as grandmother had shouted at him, right? So in order to spite grandmother who had screamed at him, he threw the dish down from the tree, okay, and chattered with delight when it broke into 100 pieces. Okay, chatter means to utter rapid short sounds. You might have heard the monkeys making different sounds. Okay, so this is going to be our last paragraph of this chapter. Obviously, Toto was not the sort of pet we could keep for long. Even grandfather realized that, right? So after a long time, even grandfather realized that Toto is a kind of a monkey which could not be kept home as a pet animal. We were not well-to-do, that means not too much rich, and could not afford the frequent loss of dishes, clothes, curtains and wallpapers. So grandfather found the Tonga driver, okay, and sold Toto back to him. What happened? Grandfather sold the Toto back again to the same Tonga driver for only 3 rupees. That means grandfather had purchased Toto for 5 rupees, but at last he was fed up with Toto and therefore he sold Toto again back to the same Tonga driver for 3 rupees. Okay. So here our chapter gets over and I hope so the chapter was clear to you all. So thank you everyone for listening to me. and stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you everyone.